Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to do my college football playoff picks for the first round of these 2024 playoffs. We have 4 games to talk about, starting tomorrow with Indiana Notre Dame, which should be a fun one, and at Notre Dame, both these schools ain't that hard from each other, so it should be a fun one. Then 3 games on Saturday. To recap, it's gonna be I felt these playoffs are gonna be really, really fun. This first 12-team playoff. So let's get right into it to start off here. Indiana at Notre Dame. Both these teams 11-1. Indiana's only loss coming against Ohio State, the toughest team they've played. And Notre Dame 11-1. Their only loss coming to Northern Illinois, and they pretty much destroyed everybody else. Everybody else they played, they pretty much destroyed besides Louisville. Like every other opponent they played, they destroyed. They didn't play the best competition, but I still think this team's good. They have a really good running game. Their quarterback's a good runner too. Riley Leonard really struggled to start the season. He got better as the season went along, but they just have such a good running game, man. From Jadarian Price to Jeremiah Love, Riley Leonard can run as well. So they got a really good especially a really good running game. The passing game is okay, but the main thing for Indiana's defense is you gotta try to take away that run game. If you can at least slow it down. I'm not saying completely. I don't think they'll completely shut it down, but they'll have to at least be able to contain it. And Indiana will have to be able to run the football. They haven't ran the ball the best this year, but they're going to have to be able to run against this Notre Dame defense. Because this Notre Dame defense, it's pretty good. But nearly every game this year, they held their opponent under 20 points, besides maybe 2 games. And they're missing guys on defense, and they're still playing good. Both these teams haven't played the best competition, but I think these 2 teams are good football teams. Both defenses are good. The only game Indiana lost was Ohio State, but their defense wasn't the problem. It was really the offense in that game, the offensive line. Just the offensive line in general. Because they could run the ball, it's just the offensive line couldn't protect in pass protection. The special teams gave up, I believe, 14 points. So their offense is going to have to play better. Notre Dame's good defense, so they better be able to pass protect. That's my 2 things for Indiana if they're going to win on the road here at Notre Dame is pass protect and stop the run. If they can do those 2 things, I think they'll have a shot to win. But I just think Notre Dame's the better of these 2 teams. Indiana really hasn't been tested that much. I mean, I'm not saying Notre Dame has been playing the best teams, but both these defenses are good, but I just like the running game of Notre Dame. And I like their defense to stop the run. Or to cause havoc, I mean. So, yeah, give me Notre Dame here. I'd like to see Indiana win, just see Notre Dame fans get pissed, but I'll say Notre Dame. But I'll probably root for Indiana to win. Next game, starting Saturday, 12 o'clock. This game, Indiana Notre Dame's at 8 o'clock. On Friday. Starting Saturday at 12 p.m., number 10 SMU versus number 4 Penn State. So, SMU gets in the playoffs, their first year in the ACC. It's going to be I think it's going to be a really close game. I really do. And I'm going to go with SMU. Look, I know Penn State's offense looked really good against Oregon. But SMU has a really good defense. Like that Clemson game, they settled in. After that really rough start, they have a good offense. People really sleep on their offense, but they have a really good quarterback, I think, in Kevin Jennings, who really showed me something that Clemson game where it started off rough, but he played excellent in the second half. They are really one of the most underrated running backs in Brashard Smith. I think if Penn State does win this game, it's going to be because of Drew Lawler. He's going to have to find a rhythm. But I think it'll be a close game. Penn State, I don't think they'll win by like 17. The only way I see them losing if they make a lot of mistakes, like they did in that Clemson game, where they had a bunch of turnovers to start the game. They got behind. You can't do that in the playoffs. They can't do that and expect to win. They'll have to try and slow down Warren. The things they're going to have to do is slow down Warren, the tight end from Penn State. Don't let Drew Allard get into a rhythm. And Jennings, the only way I see Penn State losing is if Jennings has an all-time game, but he just can't make any mistakes. And it's gonna be tough to beat him on the road. I hope they do pull off the upset, and that Penn State's like an 8-point favorite somehow. But the other thing is, I just can't trust James Franklin in a big game. I can't. I just can't trust James Franklin until they win a big game like this. I can't trust them. Like, I know they had a really good offensive game against Oregon, the #1 team in the country. But Drew Allard wasn't perfect in that game. Yeah, he had the 3 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. And if he has some of those mistakes against SMU, they could lose. They have to utilize their running backs like they did in that Oregon game. They ran for, 200 and something, 290 yards. They have to utilize their run game. And they're going to obviously utilize Tyler Warren. I think the second best tight end in the country. But I'm going to go with SMU. I know it's going to be tough on the road, because Penn State's going to be tough is a tough place to play. But I'm going to go with SMU. I just trust Kevin Jennings in that offense. They've been really good the whole season. I think they have a really good defense. They showed that against Clemson after that just rough start because the offense put them in some bad spots. Their defense got them back in the game. And I'm going to trust them over Penn State because I just can't trust James Franklin in a big game. Home field advantage, yes, it will matter, but you don't know until the game's played. So give me SMU. Number 16 Clemson versus number 3 Texas. Texas coming out with that loss in the SEC championship. I don't know. Texas is going to have to be able to run the football. Is what I'll have to say to start here. I really believe they're going to have to run the football. Clemson has a really good defense. I believe Texas has like an 80% chance to win this game. I'm going to pick Texas, but I'm not confident in this pick because I like Clemson's defense here. They played pretty good against SMU until the fourth quarter, really. I don't trust Texas because of Quinn Ewers. He's just not a good quarterback. He's not an NFL talent quarterback, NFL caliber quarterback. Like, he didn't play good against Georgia. He's just not been that good this whole season. And I just think even if they get past Clemson here, I think it's gonna be because of their run game with Travion Wisner, Jaden Blue, guys like that. I just don't trust Quinn Ewers though. That's just the thing that's holding me back on Texas, because I think they should start Arch Manning. I think he's the better quarterback. Quinn Ewers doesn't have a good arm. He's not that mobile. Yes, he can run, but he's not that fast. He doesn't have a great arm. I just think Archie Manning is better in every area than Quinn Ewers. Like, I think he can go out there and play, and he'll be better than Quinn Ewers immediately. And it's sad because I think Quinn Ewers is a junior. I think Arch Manning's a freshman. But I just think he's the better of the two quarterbacks. And if they don't play Arch Manning, even in this game, I could see them losing. Like, I just don't know if this Texas team's that good. Like, they didn't face that great competition all season in the SEC. And they faced Georgia twice, their 2 toughest games in the regular season and the SEC title game, and lost. Clemson, I can see them pulling off the upset here. Cade Klubnik's been one of the more underrated quarterbacks this season in college football. They're have to have a really good offensive game because this Texas defense is good. That's the good one thing I'll say about Texas. Two good things: they have a good running game and they have a good defense. And they have good receivers. Like, they have talented receivers. I just think if Arch Manning was the starter, I think they would be much, much better. If they don't start him next season, if Quinn Ewers does decide to come back, I can see him transferring. And if that happened, I'm a Texas fan, I would be mad. But I'm going to go with Texas here, but I am not confident in this pick at all. I could see them getting upset, but I'm just going to go with them because they're playing at home. We'll see if they utilize Arch Manning at some point in this game. I mean, I would start them, but I just think they're too stubborn right now to start them. So we'll see. But the fourth and final game I'm going to talk about here is number 7 Tennessee against number 6 Ohio State. Both teams 10-2. Tennessee ended 10-2. I believe their last win was Vanderbilt that helped them clinch a spot in the playoffs officially. Ohio State coming off their loss to Michigan. It's gonna be a tough game because Ohio State coming off that loss to Michigan. I don't see them playing that bad offensively the rest of the season. Their defense was fine in that game. I mean, their defense kept them in the game. It's just their offense wasn't good. They missed 2 field goals. I don't know if I feel confident picking Ohio State here. I mean, I want them to win because I don't like Tennessee and their fans, and Tennessee fans hate Ohio State for no reason. I'm going to pick Ohio State. I don't think they're going to destroy Tennessee. Tennessee has a really good defense and a good quarterback in Nico Lamaliva. I'm going to go with Ohio State. I don't think they're going to play that bad offensively the rest of the season. Most of their games this year, they've had a lot of good offensive games. This was the worst offensive game they've put up this year with only 10 points. And Will Howard throwing 2 interceptions. They couldn't run the football. I think they're going to be able to maybe run the football a bit. Their running game has been disappointing this year. Will Howard's been average. For that much of a $20 million roster, you'd expect more from Will Howard. Not sure his stats look good, I guess, but he's not really that good of a quarterback. And it's gonna be a fun game to watch. I feel like this could be maybe the game of the day. Excuse me, well, pretty much a game of the day, basically, but how can Ohio State beat them? The 3 keys to me are they got to start fast. They've hardly roared out of the gate this year. In multiple games, they've started out slow in the first quarter. This is a game you can't start out slow. It's a playoff game against really good defense in Tennessee. You can't start off slow. They have capable guys on offense like Dylan Sampson and some solid receivers. And another slow start, you can't have that. They need to contain Dylan Sampson because he was the Offensive Player of the Year in the SEC. An over 1,000-yard rusher, I believe, had 20-something touchdowns. They got to contain him. And they just got to lean on their talent. Like, they have NFL caliber receivers like Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate. And during the first 6 games, they averaged 13 touches, Smith and Egbuka, and it dropped to 8 over the last 6 games here, according to these stats. Like, they need to get those 2 the football more. The past few weeks, they haven't. And the key matchup is the offensive line and defensive line. Ohio State's O-line versus Tennessee's D-line. The biggest question mark for me is Ohio State's offensive line. Like, so many injuries, and just kind of I don't know. I just don't know about Chip Kelly. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ohio State, but those are my playoff picks. Notre Dame, SMU, Texas, and Ohio State. So that's all to say. Peace.